Aaron Rodgers, this is the start of minicamp. Now, these are mandatory. This is not voluntary and all that, which the voluntary stuff, Rob, it seems like what they do is they make it voluntary, so the players, you don't have to come. And then when players aren't there, somebody leaks and complains to the media, and it becomes he's not at the voluntary workouts. No, they're voluntary. He shouldn't be there if he doesn't want to be. So, but these today for the Jets, mandatory, and Aaron Rodgers, it was not there. Here's Coach Robert Saleh talking about it, Rob.
Aaron and I spoke before OTA started. He's been very good in communication. He's been here the entire time. It's inexcused, but he had an event that was very important to him, which he communicated.
Rob, I have tried to believe in Aaron Rodgers with the Jets, and I do think he is committed to trying to have a great run with the Jets. But I'm sorry, and I guess I'm going to be one of the people you are trashing. Because for Aaron Rodgers not to show up today for an unexcused absence at the first mandatory workout of the season is selfish and hypocritical. Because it's inexcused. If it were a family matter, it'd be excused. If it were a health issue, it'd be excused. And Aaron Rodgers, Rob, was the person that got on his soapbox a few months ago and talked about how the Jets, we got to get rid of the distractions. It's got to be all about football, nothing else. And yet on the first day of mandatory workouts, you're not there for an inexcused absence. I get Hassan Reddick. You got a contract issue. That's fine. You're holding out or whatever. But Aaron Rodgers put whatever it is he's doing ahead of football. And I think it's a bad look, Rob. I think it sets a bad tone for the season. Now, I'm not saying it's insurmountable. I'm just saying the first day when you said we're done with the distractions, fellas, it's all football, and you're not there. You're the leader. I think it sets a bad tone. It looks insubordinate. So it chips away at probably the already struggling authority of your head coach, Robert Saleh. He has to go out there and tap dance around the issue and actually say, we didn't hear it on ours, but I saw the press conference. Rob, he said selfishly, I want everybody there. Robert, it's not selfish. It's mandatory. Rob, I'm not being selfish when I expect you to be here today. When I expected Rob G to be here, it's mandatory. It's the show. Rodgers is the one being selfish. Again, I'm not saying it's an insurmountable thing. I think he'll be committed when he's there, but this is a bad look. And like I said, it's hypocritical when you told everybody, I guess you admit that was meant for everybody else. Everybody else needs to get rid of distractions, but I've got something I need to do. And I think, Rob, the Jets would have should have probably made it excused because it would have looked better, but maybe it was so frivolous, for lack of a better word, that they couldn't justify making it inexcused. So I just think after all this talk, it just looks bad for Aaron Rodgers. First day, not to show up for an inexcused absence.
It just doesn't move me either way. I mean, I'm glad you're worked up. That sounds good for the radio.
I ain't worth losing no sleep, but I'm calling him
I know
out.
that, but I'm saying you got a little passion about it. It just doesn't move me. I mean, I thought he was crazy when he was trying to get back out on the field, and he was walking around during the season when he should have easily said, let me get out of here. Let me get healthy. He stuck around. He did all that. I'm just not that big. I've seen it happen a lot. Tom Brady missed OTAs later in his career. A lot of people do it.
Mandatory or voluntary?
Yeah, he's missed mandatory OTAs. It's veteran people. Chris, sure, you want everybody there, but I just don't look at it. To me, it's about the regular season. If he plays poorly, then if you want to go back to that, then fine. There were years when he won the two MVPs, he didn't go to some of the OTAs too then. During that time, he won MVPs. You can go back. If a guy doesn't play well, you can point to it and say, hey, maybe if he would have went to OTAs, he would have been better. I don't know. I just don't know if you could show me a scoreboard and say, when you don't go to OTAs for any reason, you're going to have a bad season. If he has a bad season, he'll be ripped. If he has a great season, nobody will ever even think about it or remember it. So in the moment, yes, you're right. At the moment, it looks bad not to be there. But I think it's when you talk about Aaron Rodgers, it's about results. If he's terrible this year, Chris, then you can make that argument. If he's great and the Jets win their first 5 or 6 games and they're off to something special, then we'll go back and we won't even address it or think about it. It's one of those things.
But
so I think you're.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just think it's. I think it's the here and now, the immediate response. Okay, I got it. He should be there. He's not there. But I don't think it's as big of a deal as maybe some people might want to make it.
I don't think him having a good year individually hinges on today's practice or tomorrow's practice for that matter. I totally agree with that. I don't know if you weren't actually saying that, but I don't think this is going to make or break Aaron Rodgers.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Right? Like, if he plays poorly, it's not going to be because he missed today's practice.
Right.
It's just going to be he's 40 years old, he's no longer has it, whatever. And if he's great, he's going to be great regardless of today. My point, Rob, I'm more concerned about the team. I'm more concerned about what it says to his teammates. Not him. He'll be fine. I'm talking about the teammates who may be saying, Rob, didn't Aaron say put the distractions aside? Didn't Aaron say we're all in to win the Super Bowl? And he's not here. It's only 2 days, Rob.
But
you couldn't be here for these 2 days? It just it's not about the football for me from his perspective, because he's going to be fine. It's about the tone it sets with the other guys. They all doing something. They all had better stuff probably to do. But they showed up. And I just think it screams hypocrisy. And that is, that's what the critics of Aaron Rodgers, one of the things they point out. And I'm like, dude, just show up. So I think that's the bad look. I'm not saying it's the worst thing in the world, but I don't like the tone that it sets. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I think those same teammates will remember how quickly he tried to rehab last year, and he wanted to get on the field, and he's walking and throwing the football, and he's in Wilson's ear on the sidelines, and he didn't just say, I'm hurt this year and disappear and not show up or be around. He could have just said, I'm going to rehab on my own. I'm going to disappear. I'm not coming around. He was around all year. That was admirable. I think his teammates saw that he was really trying, that if there was some sort of playoff scenario, which it wasn't going to happen, Chris, with the way that the team went, that he was trying to make. I think that you earned some points in that standpoint. So I just look at it as there's two sides. One side you saw last year when he got hurt, that he was willing to be around and help his teammates and talk to them and all that. And in this case, I don't know what the scenario is, Chris, about what is so important. I just don't know. And maybe there has to be a reason that you couldn't move today, that there's something.
Well, it was inexcused, because I would think, Rob, if it's something, think of us, our job. If it's something legitimate, it'll be excused. I have no idea what it is. It hasn't been reported. A thought that comes to mind is he speaking at some event? He's obviously into politics or other things. So who knows? But we will find out and we will see. But I don't think, besides family, health, things like that, at this point, football should be number one. And he has said that.